Hey, welcome to your first session. I'm your coach, and today we're going to cut through all the noise. My goal is simple, to bust the biggest myths that trip up almost everyone when they start out, so you can begin your fitness journey with total confidence and get results that actually last.
All right, let's just dive right into the deep end and tackle the biggest myth of them all. You know the one, this idea that if you don't leave the gym feeling completely wrecked, like you can barely walk, then you just wasted your time. We've all heard no pain, no gain, right? But is that really how you build muscle? Let's find out. So, first things first, we've got to redefine what hitting the limit actually means. Because you see, in the world of smart training, not all failure is created equal. And knowing the difference is probably the most important thing for your safety and your progress.
Let's break it down. Over on the left, we have what's called technical failure. This is the point where your perfect form starts to break down. Maybe your back starts to round on a deadlift, or you have to use a little body English to swing up that last bicep curl. Then on the right, you have muscular failure. That's the real deal, when the muscle itself is so fried, it physically cannot move the weight another inch, even if your form is perfect.
So here's the bottom line for you. Right now, your stop sign is always technical failure. Why? Because the second your form breaks, you're not really working the target muscle effectively anymore. And even worse, you're opening the door wide open for injuries. Perfecting your form is the foundation we're going to build everything on.
Okay, so you might be thinking, well, if my limit is just when my form gets a little shaky, how am I ever going to train hard enough to actually see results? And that is a great question. It's not about training less hard. It's about having a much smarter way to measure your effort, so every single set is effective without being reckless.
I want you to meet your new best friend in the gym, RIR, which stands for Reps in Reserve. This is going to be your personal intensity meter, and it's super simple. When you finish a set, I just want you to honestly ask yourself, how many more reps could I have done with perfect form before things got ugly? That number, that's your RIR. It's like a fuel gauge for your muscles. And this little chart here just shows you how it all connects. RIR links up with something called RPE, or rate of perceived exertion, which is just a fancy way of saying a 1 to 10 scale of how hard something feels. So if you finish a set and think, yeah, I had about 3 good ones left in the tank, that's an RIR of 3, which feels like a 7 out of 10 effort. See? It's your personal intensity meter.
So why are we so focused on this RAI thing? Well, it's because the real magic, the actual signal that tells your muscles they need to grow bigger and stronger, happens in those last few really challenging reps of a set. As you get closer to failure, into that low RII range, your body has to recruit every available muscle fiber to get the job done. That's the signal we're after.
This chart paints a perfect picture. When you're way far from failure, maybe at an RIR of 4, the stimulus for growth is pretty low. But look what happens as you get closer. Once you're in that RIR 2 or even RIR 0 zone, that growth signal just skyrockets. Those last few reps are what we call effective reps, and they're the ones that really, really count.
But, and this is the game-changing secret that most people never learn, you don't actually have to go all the way to RIR 0, to that absolute muscular failure, to get the best results. Study after study shows that stopping with 1 to 3 good reps left in the tank gives you nearly all of the muscle-building benefits, but with way, way less fatigue. And that means you can recover faster, train better next time, and make more progress in the long run.
Okay, intensity? Check. You've got that down. Now let's talk about a secret weapon that almost every lifter ignores, and that's tempo. Mastering this one little thing can multiply your results without you ever having to add a single pound to the bar.
I want you to forget about just mindlessly moving weight from point A to point B. From now on, every single rep has a cadence. It's simple. Be controlled but powerful on the way up. We'll count that as 1 second. But then on the way down, you're going to fight gravity. You're going to lower the weight slowly and with control for a full 3 seconds. 1 up, 3 down.
So why are we doing this? Because by slowing down that lowering part of the lift, we dramatically increase what's called time under tension. This is a hugely powerful signal for growth. It creates a lot of that productive muscle damage that your body then has to repair and rebuild stronger. This is a massive catalyst for hypertrophy, which is just the sciencey term for building muscle.
So you've got the perfect rep down, you know exactly how hard you need to push, but if you think the work is done when you walk out of the gym, you're missing the single most important part of the entire process. The real magic, the actual growth, doesn't happen in here. It happens in the other 23 hours of the day.
Think of it like this. Your workout is you placing an order for new muscle. You go in, you do the work, you create these tiny little micro tears in the muscle fibers, but it's only when you rest and recover that your body can actually deliver on that order, sending in the building blocks to repair those fibers and make them bigger and stronger than they were before. No recovery, no growth. It's that simple.
This is why your recovery is completely non-negotiable. It is just as important as any set or rep you do in the gym. You have to make it a priority to get 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep. You need to give your muscles at least 48 hours to heal before you hit them hard again. And of course, you've got to fuel that rebuilding process with good food. Protein and carbs are key. And drink plenty of water.
All right, enough theory. Let's pull all this together into a clear, simple, step-by-step action plan for your first 6 weeks. This is your blueprint for building a rock-solid foundation.
For the first 3 weeks, we have one mission, and one mission only, to master the technique. I don't care how much weight is on the bar, I want you to focus on perfect form for every single exercise. Your effort is going to be moderate. We're aiming for an RIR of 3 to 4. You should finish every set knowing you could have done a few more. This is all about wiring and good habits.
Okay, now once that technique feels automatic, once it's second nature, now we get to have some fun and dial up the intensity. During weeks 4, 5, and 6, we're going to start pushing closer to that technical failure point we talked about. You'll be aiming for an RIR of 1 to 2. You'll be working much harder, but because we built that foundation, you'll be doing it safely and effectively.
And this right here, this is the secret sauce to getting results that actually stick around for the long haul. It's a principle called progressive overload. All that means is we're gradually asking your body to do a little bit more over time. But we do it intelligently. We build a flawless foundation of technique first, and then we slowly turn up the dial on intensity. That's how you build a strong, resilient body that lasts.
So, let's wrap this all up. Think of these as your new golden rules. Number 1, perfect technique is everything. It is non-negotiable. Number 2, use RIR to be your honest guide for effort. Number 3, control the tempo. Remember 3 seconds on the way down. And finally, number 4, respect your rest just as much as you respect your training, because that's when the real growth happens.
And there you have it. You now have the knowledge to avoid all the common mistakes that sideline most beginners. You're equipped to get real, sustainable results in a way that's both safe and incredibly efficient. Anyone can go to the gym and train hard. You're going to train smart. Welcome aboard.